Hello, welcome back to another exciting time, and of course, this time around we shall be having someone with us in the house that attended, the election, that witnessed the election that happened in Anambra. Right from the polling centers to the collation center to help us understand what really happened for those that were not there to see it for themselves, and of course, Lillian is going to do justice.
Yes. In the studio with us here, we have our director of news who was present at Anambra State for the election in the person of Law Ideyinwa. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Lawrence Ideyinwa. So, from your assessment, how would you generally assess the election in Anambra State on November 8th?
It depends on where you're coming from, or where you're, explaining from. Generally, like everyone has said, election was very peaceful. Anambra has been a state known for violence and, several activities that some levels of criminality, but none of that was witnessed during the elections. For the only report we had was an unexpected incident somewhere where only one person died. So I'm sure people were afraid. I'm sure when we were about to go to Anambra, somebody would say, I hope you will be wearing your bulletproof and all that and all that.
Yeah.
No such thing played out. So in that regard, I give kudos to security agencies and Anambra citizens as well. I saw a release by the police commissioner thanking citizens of Anambra State for how they comported themselves. So for peace to reign, the security agencies will work, citizens will also cooperate. So I think that was what played out. And of course, the state was really, the state was really a high security watch. The radar was high. In fact, while we were traveling from Enugu to Oka that morning, the security networks on the road were heavy. In fact, I saw so many trucks were kept on the road because they could not pass. Even with all our, with all our passes and everything, we still found it difficult to pass. We had to plead before they allowed us to get our destination and then cover the election. So security-wise, it was top-notch. There were no incidents about, like I said, only one isolated case, and that is good enough for a state like that. That was happening about here areas, Orumba areas, and so on. But I didn't hear any much reports about violence or killings or anything of the sort. So on that spell, the election was very peaceful. And then people have also talked about turnout. Turnout, comparatively compared to what happened 2023, is a marked improvement.
Okay.
But again, what brought about improvement? Improvement from about 10-11% to about 21% or thereabout. Now, if you move around, you will find out that most of the places people we saw were mainly ABGA supporters, as reflected in the outcome of the election, which means ABGA mobilized their members to come and vote for them. So what were the other parties and their candidates and their supporters? So it's worrying to me personally, because all the places we went to, like the votes buying and all things that we were talking about, it was happening and nobody was challenging those who were doing it. Maybe that is why they stay that peace was. Otherwise, there are areas that you want to do that, people will challenge you. I never saw where people were protesting. Why are you giving money for people to vote? So like those who are the underdogs have resigned to fate. They feel they have been defeated and they have resigned to fate. So I'm not excited about that election really, because it's just like what we're talking about at the federal level. If everybody moves into one establishment or moves into one party, what happens to opposition? What happens to dissenting voice? What happens to people who are being suppressed? So I think that good, it happened. It was peaceful. There was no violence. There was no... but then, when you say that, before the elections, the governor of the state was promising certain words, how much they will collect for if they turn out, if they bring out the highest number of voters. And so maybe those who are mobilized are those who came out to vote. So really, there's so much to be done. There's so much to be done going forward.
Okay, so I would like to take you in from the angle where you say the security presence was top-notch.
Yeah.
Don't you think that statement was a bit generous? Because we are still concerned with the area, the polling units that witnessed a councillor that was killed. Now, the top-notch, is it just for smoke screen? Is it just for the streets and checkpoints? What happened to the polling unit, which was the major places?
That was it's an isolated incident.
So,
let's be honest. It was an isolated incident. All the places I went, there's no where I didn't see police presence.
But in the isolation, the isolated unit place you're talking about now, we've not heard of any case of battle like to the security personnel and the invaders, the people that came to kill the councillor, like they shot each other or something happened. There was no story regarding that. So what happened? Where were the police presence, number one? And number two, the areas where we have the polling units where there was vote buying, people buying and selling, like they were in the market. One of the videos, you even see the police security seated comfortably looking at what was happening. So what is the essence, or what was the essence of these personnel, in as much as the presence of the police was top notch?
You're asking two things now.
Okay.
I said what happened was that incident that where the councillor was killed was an isolated case. What is mean that is in an election that 21 local government areas, several wards and constituencies and other, and you report what it's not any life is what worrying about. Any life is a life. I'm saying that based on the nature of Anambra State, the tempo of activities in Anambra State, that I'm not. If somebody died, it's unfortunate. I'm saying it could have been worse than that.
Okay.
And then you should give credit to the policemen who made it happen, or the security agencies. There is no way you tell me that the election in Anambra was not peaceful. I think it is peaceful. Peaceful does not mean it was an excellent election, but in terms of security, it was top notch. I repeat that. Otherwise, that's something that happened. Only one person. When I say only one person, it does not mean that one person's life is not worth something. But I'm saying people. When some people say, I hope you are going with your bulletproof to Anambra to go and monitor the election, and everybody came back unscattered. That's what I'm saying. Comparatively, the security situation was top. In fact, the police boss has come out to thank people and commend them for what happened. So that's what I'm looking at. Generally, in terms of police presence, I didn't see violence. I didn't see fighting. I didn't see. In fact, even amongst the political opponents, even after the elections, where we were, they were waiting for the result to be counted. We don't know which will belong to the other party. They were drinking together, chatting together, conversing together. And one man was telling me that that's how they behave. They don't care which party you belong to. And that is good enough in that aspect. Okay. But I'm saying that I also wanted people who are being, I expected that I'm not praying for violence, but it's like the opposition is resigning in this country. The opposition are resigning in this country. It's happening at the federal level. Everybody is moving towards APC. Maybe in Anambra, everybody has converged and succumbed to APGA. So where lies plurality? Where lies opposition? Where lies the other choices? So that's the point I'm trying to make.
The vote buying.
So what would you say is the reason why some of these opposition parties just, go back to their shells instead of fighting? We have seen it in different cases.
Fighting in what way, you mean?
Fighting instead of contesting, coming out to do, proper campaigning, with their manifestos, pushing forward. Because when you were speaking, you said that majority of the people that were there for the voting was from the APGA. So what is the factors that influences or makes some of these candidates not to come out in mass and do the needful?
Thank you. That comes back to that issue of vote buying.
Okay.
Election in Nigeria has been monetized, and it's unfortunate. Even the young people that are coming up these days, People no longer believe in integrity. People no longer believe that this is good and this is bad. Everybody has resigned. And again, that has to do with level of poverty in the country. If you cannot feed your family, you cannot feed yourself, and you have no, you don't know when the next meal is coming. And somebody says, come and take 2,000 naira, at least let me see that eat for that day. That's what people have come to. When there's poverty in a land, that's why in an informed society, where there's high unemployment, people are viable, people are eating well, and people are living comfortably, you hardly can buy them over. But because of poverty in the land, anybody will give 2,000 naira or 10,000 naira. It's unfortunate, but I saw it happening. There was one man who was sitting in one place. Just once you finish, you come to that place, it will hand you. Once you finish, and that's, you were asking about police presence. It's a good question you ask. Why would such things be happening in public glare?
Right.
There are policemen watching in their presence. Even when they give out the money, it's not even hidden.
No confrontation.
There's no confrontation. It's not hidden. In fact, even policemen come and collect their own. Oga, I have not been given. Oga, I have been given. It's not just the voters. Everybody's come and take you. It was so open. It was so glaring. So it's unfortunate that the level we have, and that is why poverty in the land continues. The political class are not trying to find a way of leveling up, closing the gap between the poor and the rich. They keep amassing that wealth so that they will buy you over and make you shut up.
So are you saying that they are weaponizing poverty?
It's been weaponized beyond what would I put it? It's been over-weaponized, so to say.
Okay, so let's still come back to the election. How would you assess INEC's way of handling the election, especially from polling centers that, especially the units that somebody was shot, the units where vote buying happened, election result has been out? Are we saying INEC was not aware of these units, these places, to cancel the results or to cancel the election and maybe reappoint another time for them to take this seats, cast their vote again, for us to have a free, fair, and credible election? How would you assess INEC regarding that?
INEC has sufficiently lamented their inability to handle that issue of vote buying or electoral fraud. That's why there are calls in some quarters for the establishment of an independent electoral offences tribunal or commission or whatever it is called. Those who will be charged with that, who will be charged with trying electoral offenders and then making out punishments to them. And is it the INEC officer, presiding officer, who is sorting out ballot papers and giving out voting cards and all that, will begin to leave the job and begin to pursue those who are buying votes? And then the police will tell you that our job is just to make sure there is peace. You understand what I'm saying? Our job is to make sure there is peace, and that is where their job ends. So that issue, maybe the electoral law should be revisited. That issue of how to handle vote buying and other offences should be factored into the electoral law. That is, there's a big lacuna in that aspect. Who is equipped to do that? Who should arrest, apprehend, and prosecute electoral offenders? Who should handle such things when they happen? Because it happened massively. Not about it. There's no pretend about it. It was massive. And when you say you've bought voters, it means you don't have their mandate. You don't have their support. So, and when you have, do you know how much they spend to buy those voters? First of all, you have to recoup that amount of money you use in buying them. And when somebody has bought you, you are worth nothing to that person. Yeah. He has bought you, and you are worth nothing to the person. You no longer
have a say.
You don't have a say. So that is a lacuna that must find a way of taking care of it.
So finally, before we go, would you say that from everything that you witnessed and what went on and what went wrong, would you say that it was a free, fair, and credible election? Looking at the news, the headlines this morning that most of the candidates are rejecting the results.
The election
All right.
The truth remains, I have said it. Personally, I'm not excited with what happened in Anambra State. Personally, I'm not excited because I couldn't see the position. I couldn't see people who are saying, let us change the system, let's not change narrative. I didn't see it. And that's what I'm saying, because of, you mentioned it, weaponizing poverty, vote buying, and so on and so forth. There must be a way of addressing that going forward. Let me tell you, if this thing continues, by the 2027 elections, the turnout will even be worse than what we witnessed here.
Yeah.
It will be worse than that, because well, you can buy your supporters to come and vote for you, but there are people who cannot buy, and they stay at home. So what it means that the people that you have bought over will come and vote for you. Those that are not able to buy will stay at home. And when in a state that have 2-point-something million voters, and less than 500,000 are voting, is that a reflection of a proposed mandate? It is not.
Well, that is a very good question, Mr. Lawrence Ibeyenwa. We want to thank you very much for representing Signature TV as the Director of News in that field on Saturday. So, and also thank you for joining us in the studio this evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And right now, we will take a short break. When we return, Signature Evening continues.